everybody, this is Blossom, and today I want to answer question 2, 3 and 4 of the 31 Days of Tarot challenge by Ethony Dawn. Now, I wasn't really sure if I will participate this year, but I really do like some of the prompts. The only thing is that I want to mention I cannot do all the prompts because I will probably not have enough time to do every day a video. And on the other hand, there are also a few prompts where I feel that I just talked about it in one of my recent videos, so I don't want to, to repeat myself too often. Now, and then I skipped the first question because I did my year ahead reading, and I don't know if, well, I didn't do a video about it, I just wrote a blog about it, how I do this reading, and so I felt, so it's quite in depth, and so I felt if I do another, if I pull another 2 cards for 2018, that doesn't make much sense. It would just be to be on the video, so I just skipped that. And so let's go to day number 2, top 5 tarot decks of 2017. So, and I really thought, oh, this question is going to be easy because I'm sure I didn't purchase more than 5 decks. But I did. I was shocked. So, very early this year, last year, I purchased the Ethony Tarot. And this needs to be in my top 5. Let me just okay, I think that's a bit better. So now for the Ethony Tarot, I use it quite differently than all my other tarots, but that's not, well, I use some of my tarot decks the same way, but I work in this manner specifically with this deck. And what I do with this deck, I work mostly to work with the Guinea use Loki, or with earth energies, or to learn more about the history of a place. Yeah, I just think this deck is great for that. And I actually rarely do other readings with this deck. Not because I think it's not going to work, because the cards, you can read the cards beautifully, but they have something so earth magic to them, and of course the whole lore around the Arthurian myth, the whole stories, and also the book that comes with it. But I have another book as well, I will talk about that later. Yeah, it's fantastic, and I really enjoy to do that, really an interview with the spirit of the place, and then learn more about maybe even ley lines or earth energy in general. Yeah, I really enjoy this deck for doing this kind of work immensely. I think it's beautiful. The next one would be the Wildwood Tarot. Yeah, just an amazing deck. It feels so primal. And again, I use this deck as well for like working with the spirit of the place, but not just. Also a lot about my own pagan path, if you like so. Everything in my life that needs a more primal approach, I enjoy it for that very much. But I also think it's a very healing deck, well, in my experience now. And I like how it has its own system, and that you cannot rely on the Rider-Waite-Smith to work with this deck. I like the challenge in it. And of course this deck talks to my pagan soul, if you like so. The next one I've purchased is the Nicoletta Ciccoli Tarot. And again, it is so beautiful. I fell so in love with the artwork, and you can get so much out of it without yeah, again, it is, you know, the imagery is just not the typical Rider-Waite-Smith. Oh, here's the Queen of Swords. I love her. And the Hermit. Yeah, and it is a deeply healing deck. I really wanted it to purchase because I was working on some issues. And it is such a healing deck, and I heard many people say that, and it is really true, in my opinion anyway. And there are some cards that I don't read in the traditional way at all, and others I do again sometimes, depending on the reading. And this is one of those decks that I use just for myself. I haven't read with this deck for any other people yet, not even friends or, you know, family. I don't use it. I also heard, you know, some people really don't like this deck, and I don't know if I would, I know, because there are some strong opinions about this deck, what it is about. And then you really think twice before you do an online reading. If you use it or not. I don't see it at all like this. For me, the images speak so clearly, and they touched upon something in my soul that really needed healing. So I think it's a fantastic deck, and I'm happy to have it. Yeah. That's about that. Then number 4 is the Tarot of the Sweet Twilight. I have a review on my channel about this one. And as I mentioned there, you know, I saw a few images on Instagram about, of this deck. There we go. And yeah, because it has that Tim Burton feeling, and the artwork resembles the Tim Burton artwork. Oh god, I love this strength card. It's a beautiful strength card. Yeah, yeah, I was so drawn to it, and I really wanted to have it. And we have a few upside downs. And again, it's one of those non-traditional tarot decks that I'm really looking for, and that I highly appreciate. And in my opinion, the symbolism in this deck is so rich. You can go on and on and on and on with this card, in my opinion. And it really does have that bittersweet energy around it. But I always had very nice, nice sounds silly now, wait. Well, nurturing and loving readings with it. But it also tells you what you need to know. Yeah, it's just, I really connect with it. And I love to work with this deck. And the last one is the Victorian Fairy Tarot. And this one was really a surprise for me, because I was thinking about it for a while, and because it is a bit more expensive, so I wasn't sure, because Victorian fairies are not necessarily my thing, but I'm always open to to explore something a bit differently, what I maybe don't particularly like. So this is one of the cards that I don't appreciate, but well, the rest of the deck is fine. And yeah, it was really a surprise how instantly I connected with this deck, and how easy it was to read it, and how clear the messages are. And again, I know there is, or there was, I completely lost track of it. There was a tag going on, hug deck, yeah, well, sorry, hug deck. And I want to respond to that, but I completely, I don't know anymore who started it, and I couldn't find it again. So, but this is one of those decks. It is very clear, but it feels every time like a warm embrace when I read with this deck. And I like how they do it into seasons. I was not sure about that because summer is cups. And once a spring, I would switch that. I would have wands as summer and cups as spring. So I wasn't sure if that would be a problem, but it's not. You know, you just read a few times whether you get used to it. Yeah, and the artwork is again so detailed and so beautiful, just very rich. The color palette is beautiful, and you have in the guidebook, she writes about what the flowers represented in the image means, and this is just beautiful. And I'm able to fully appreciate it for what it is. Even Victorian fairies, these flower fairies, I don't neglect that those fairies exist. Yeah, so it's just very a nice addition. And like I said, I had such a strong connection with it instantly. That does not happen every time with every deck. With some decks you just have to work a bit longer, but this one worked from day one. I just got it, pulled my first card, and everything was so crystal clear. So that was a nice surprise. So I also do day 3 with top 5 oracles. Let's move to the oracles then. Now number 1, well, I purchased that very early in 2017, is the Fairy Forest Oracle by Lucy Cavendish. And again, one of those that I had such a strong connection from day 1 on. And for me personally, the images are, well, the messages that are coming from it are so clear. And I remember at the beginning my husband tried a few times to read it. He doesn't understand it at all. He says, well, it's mostly, you know, close-ups. I don't know what to do with it. And I was a bit afraid of that too, but still, it's one thing. I think some people who may know a bit more about my collection, I have a lot of Lucy Cavendish decks, and I really love her oracles, and I have a strong, I connect easily with those decks. Not everybody does, I'm sure. And this is this is again a very beautiful deck, and not everybody appreciates that. I'm well aware of that, but this one is so, the energy is amazing in this deck. That's my personal opinion. Not everybody, again, I always think as well, it is just a tool, but in my opinion, her decks have something magical to them. I don't know. I just feel this way. This is so beautiful. And they are so accurate every time. Sometimes scary. And they are not as mysterious, I think, as other of her decks. I find them much clearer. There we go. So the next deck is the Weird of Sarah Howard by Gabby Angus West, who also did the Bonefire Tarot. I have this tarot as well, and I liked, of course, the tarot so much, and I saw this deck last year in the 31 Days of Tarot, and I fell instantly over video in love with this deck. And I didn't know at that time that it's out of print, so if you don't know that, it's out of print. But I think most people know that. I'm just always a bit behind. Yeah, it is an out of print deck, and I looked for it over a year, and then something came up and I had the opportunity to buy it, and so I did, because it's so amazing. It's yeah, I so fell in love with this deck, because it gives you also the freedom to have, well, you have the possibility to interpret it in so many ways. Even just the keywords that she uses are fantastic, I think. Some are a bit clearer and some you really, you know, it's a bit of a mystery sometimes what you can do out of it. Yeah. So I'm really happy that I had the opportunity to get this deck. Sorry that they are upside down, but I think they are just absolutely beautiful. And of course, you know, as I often work with tarot and oracle together, it works beautifully with the bonfire tarot together. I love doing those readings with those two decks. Just fantastic. And the next one is the Cicoli oracle that I purchased together with the Nicoletta Cicoli tarot, because it works again beautifully together. You know, I came at that point where you want to, that it's nice together, that it looks nice together. So yeah, and I think that is fantastic. And again, this is one of those decks where people were, some love it, some hate it because of certain images. And I don't want to go into that discussion, because I don't, yeah, this is one, so if somebody is offended now, that's, yeah, well, sorry, but I can't see that. And the next one, I think those two were the main problem. I don't know, for me, this is, I don't understand why it is a problem, really. I think it's beautiful. I love it. It works nice together with the Nicoletta Cicoli tarot, but also with other tarot decks, of course. And yeah, it has a very special feel to it. I cannot really describe it. It's one of those decks that I don't use for others, just for myself. I have more of those, you know. I think that's okay. Yeah, this really, this is sad. I think that is the problem card. But the rest, really beautiful. Yeah. And the next one is the Fairy Tale Oracle, again by Lucy Cavendish and Jasmine Beckett-Griffith. And I'm crazy for fairy tales. And I really like how she did that in the guidebook. I think it's beautifully done, how she was writing it and how the guidebook was set up. I haven't done a review about it yet. If somebody's interested in it, just let me know. I'm happy to do one. Yeah, and it's great. You can get so much out of it because of the fairy tale. So what was the story behind it, you know, and you can go on and on and on again. And yeah, you have to like that kind of artwork. Not everybody loves it. I do. I thought at some point, yeah, no, I don't know, I'm not sure about it. But then I purchased the Oracle of Shadows and Light. There we go. And I really started to appreciate her artwork, and now I'm a big fan, to be honest. Yeah, and I have a reading, actually. I think I have a reading on, yeah, exactly, the Happy Tarot. This tarot spread where I use those cards. And I think they are really great. They work fantastic. I really enjoy to work with those. I'm very happy that I purchased them, because again, I was thinking, but you know. So that's that. And the last one is the Earth Wisdom Oracle. And yeah, I love this card. So I love this deck. The artwork is beautiful. The only thing that I have that for me personal again, and I heard that I think a few times now, the keyword and the image does not always work for me. And also the guidebook. The guidebook is yeah, well, I think, if I'm honest, I think it's really not good, or just too not enough information maybe. So for this deck I wrote a whole guidebook for myself. I still have to do it in pretty because I was writing it not very pretty, but yeah, I haven't done that yet. But it is written. So I looked up all the plants because, as for those who don't know this deck, there's always a crystal and a plant. And so I researched every crystal and every plant to get more information, and also the symbolism, like a bridge, or what else do they have in, you know, all those things. We have, for example, like here, sorry, with the glare, the double spiral, or something. Oh, what did I do here? So, and I put all those symbols together and then created a little story to make an own guidebook out of it, because I was not satisfied. But again, this is a very nurturing and healing deck, I think. I don't have, for oracles, as I do have a lot of Lucy Cavendish oracles, they are sometimes very, you know, straightforward, and this one is a very embracing and hug deck again, I think. And again, it's beautiful to work with it when you work with earth magic, so then it's great. Yeah, and that's it for the oracles. So let's talk quickly about tarot books. Okay, I talk a bit about guidebooks because, if I'm really honest, I didn't really purchase. So since this year I have Kindle Unlimited, and that gave me the possibility to have a look at many tarot guidebooks as well. But if I'm really honest, I was often disappointed by them. So I don't want to mention the title or anything, because I'm sure that many people appreciate that work and can get something out of it. But it was like every tarot book, it was same old for me. So I'm just talking about a few guidebooks very quickly. So the Victorian Fairy companion book, it's not, you know, it's not the greatest book ever. But what I really like, as I mentioned before, oh, you see the shadow of the camera, that's like crazy. Sorry about that. Can I change that? Let me just see. No, I can't. Sorry about that. However, what I do like, I like how it is set up. So first we have an explanation of the card, and then when you get this card in a reading, and then at the end we have still in a nutshell. So I appreciate that. What I also like is how it talks about the plant or the flower that is represented, and it has nice spreads. So and it has, you know, it's not groundbreaking or anything, but it has a good explanation for the card, and I still can get something out of it. So I really like that book. Then the other one is the Bonefire Tarot. I know it's not in my top 5, but that was just because I got recently the Victorian Fairy Tarot, and I was so in love with it instantly. But I really love the Bonefire Tarot as well. And I love especially her guidebook, because yeah, I love the way that how she writes, and yeah, I got so much out of it, and I love how she explains her symbolism, and you still have at the end, you know, she has a little index, a glossary of bonfire symbols, and I really love that. And she writes her little stories of her own life and how she did create this card. So this is, for me, a really, really nice guidebook. Now, the other one is that one that I got with the Arthurian Tarot. So I know there is another guidebook that comes with the tarot deck. Ooh, let me just grab it. And I don't know, I actually never did read this one because I purchased this one. I got it on Amazon. I got it used, you know. I don't know if it's really still out there to purchase, if it's that easy. It was easy for me, but some of you may know that I live in Germany, so I have no idea how it is to get it in the US or UK or whatever. But as many of you know, I love the everything Celtic lore and legends, and so this is perfect. And they write so much about the story behind, they write so much about the Arthurian mythology and story, and it's just, I love it, and it brings the card so nicely to life. And yeah, I think that's fantastic. So those are my top 3 tarot books. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Much love and blessings, and bye bye.